Welcome to Target Market Insights, the multifamily and marketing podcast. Each week, John Kasman interviews multifamily and marketing experts to teach you how to find the best places to invest, attract investors, and grow your portfolio. You are listening to Target Market Insights with your host, John Kasman.
Welcome to Target Market Insights, the multifamily and marketing show. I'm your host, John Kasman, and I want to thank you for joining us for another great episode. Now, today we got a special one. We're going to be talking to Krista Mashore. Now, Krista Mashore has been in the top 1% of realtors nationwide for over 20 years, and she has personally sold over 2,200 homes and averages 100 homes a year. And she's the author of 4 best-selling books focused on digital marketing, and she's been featured in Forbes, Inman News, The Wall Street Journal, NBC, Fox, and much more. Let's welcome to the show, Krista Mashore.
Hi, thanks for having me, John. I appreciate it. Excited to be here. Love what you do.
Absolutely. Krista, listen, really excited to talk to you today. And we're definitely going to talk about all the digital marketing things that you've done. But I went over your bio really high level. Take 2 minutes and give us a little bit more context.
Yeah, so I've been in the real estate industry for 20 years. Love what I do. I use innovation and technology to my advantage and really specialize in the digital marketing and social media aspect of growing my business. And I believe in serving, not selling, because ultimately if you serve, you will sell more. And I believe in people before things, and the things will just come.
I love it. So, I talked about kind of being one of the top real estate agents in the country, right? What does it take to earn such a wonderful reputation and to have that be sustained over such a long period of time?
You have to be willing to be different and to adjust and adapt, and not just always do the same thing. My goal has always been to what is everyone else doing and how can I do it differently and better? And I know that sounds, and that really is it. I'm constantly looking at what my competitors are doing and then looking at other fields to see what they're doing that are successful. And quite frankly, that's how I started, when the market crashed and I was working with about 13 different asset management companies and banks, and I was selling their foreclosures. And my best year in the industry, I did 169 homes with myself and an assistant and a transaction coordinator, and no other licensed agents. It was just me. And how I did that was I noticed that the industry was changing. And so I started, traveling and doing something called the Dream 100, where we would send out packages to different asset management companies. And that's why I got my foot in the door that way. But then when the market changed, I remember losing a listing and I called to find out why, which you should always do. And they said, Krista, we hired the other guy because the last person said that you were the foreclosure queen. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am the foreclosure queen. That's all I had sold was foreclosures for, years, because the market was bad for around 6 years over here. And so I had to completely adjust and pivot and modify who my target audience was, my marketing, who I went after. I had to completely reinvent myself. And I was able to get back up over 100 homes. And they were all, traditional sales just from being very different. And I did so I looked and studied what the Fortune 500 companies were doing, and they were using what they call content marketing, where you just give information and value. And I call it engagement marketing because I do the exact same thing, but I engage with my community and I get them involved. And so that strategy was able to help me, really pivot and continue to just keep selling.
Man, you gave a lot of great nuggets right there. I want to break it down and make sure we didn't lose people with some of that intel, right? So first of all, you talked about always being innovative, taking a look at what your competition is doing. What can you learn from that? What can you pivot and adjust for your own business? But then you talked about, really building a reputation as the foreclosure queen. And we always talk about branding, right? Branding is not really about your logos and, your website and that kind of stuff. Branding is what other people know about you, what they say about you. And, you didn't necessarily set out to become the foreclosure queen, but that was the reputation that you had kind of developed. So people knew you for that, which was great, right? If there's a foreclosure, hey, let's call Krista. Except for when you weren't trying to market those foreclosures, then you kind of had an issue there and you step back and try to find a way to pivot. And that's a great lesson because, if you have found yourself in a position where people see you as one thing, you can absolutely pivot out of that and broaden the way people see you. Just to elaborate on that a little bit more, how did you expand? You were in this position. They saw you as a foreclosure queen. What did you do to kind of pivot and broaden that to get back up to 100 sales a year?
Well, what I did was I made a commitment that I wanted to market every single home that I got as if it were like $1 million listing. And at that time, they were only around $250,000. So I went and got a designation, the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing, and I decided I'm going to market every house. I'm going to do, 4-page colored flyers. I'm going to do video. I'm going to do drone photography. I'm going to do partial staging. I learned how to market online. I really, this was like 8 years ago, 9 years ago, got into learning how to use Facebook and other social media sites. And I started marketing on the back end of those sites. And so I was exposing myself to the masses. So I started creating video content, 8 years ago or so. I remember a videographer came up to me and said, Krista, you're one of the top agents, but nobody knows it. And video is like the new and upcoming thing, and you want to be on the forefront of it. And I was like, okay. So he started doing videos for me. I think he charged me like $200 a video then, which is still super affordable. And he just recorded my videos, and we then took those videos and I learned how to get them distributed so people actually saw them, right? In other words, when you put videos on social media, if no one sees them, it doesn't really make a difference. Why do them? And that's how it is right now. People are posting on social media, but if you're not utilizing the back end of these sites, like back into Facebook and using the ads manager account, the only people that are seeing you are your friends and family and your mom, right? Like the goal is to get everyone else in the community to see you. So I learned how to properly, use Facebook and to target people and to retarget and create lookalike audiences, now called special ad audience. And we just very quickly started dominating because everywhere people went, they would see me. I learned different types of software that were really, really great. And I made sure that I was able to show how I use that technology and how advantageous it was for the seller to utilize me and my services because I did use that technology. So anytime anyone thought about me, I now very quickly became the digital marketing queen. So I went from being the foreclosure queen to the digital marketing queen. And you couldn't, there's not anywhere you could go without seeing me. I did ads in the movie theaters. I invested in myself. I spent money to make more. If that makes sense. And a lot of agents are afraid to do it. They don't want to spend money. They don't want to market themselves. They don't want to invest in themselves and their education, their development. I did. So I hired, top of the line Facebook coaches, top of the line digital marketing coaches, top of the line funnel builders, coaches that taught me how to just do these things. And so I developed this skill, and I utilized that skill to really, really help me stand out amongst the competition.
And I love that. And you gave so many powerful insights right there, just thinking about how you became the digital marketing queen. And you kind of went through really understanding video. And you talked about this being 8 years ago, right? And I mean, people are still trying to get into video now, and that's just recording the video, yet alone to actually understand the back end and how to optimize it, how to get in front of people. I know that, a lot of your peers were not using video at that time. So for you to say, hey, I'm going to use this, I'm going to double down, I'm going to do the Facebook ads, I'm going to do all these other things to make sure I reach an audience. Did you have any trepidation? Did you have any concerns that, hey, what if this doesn't work? Or, is this really the thing that I should be, putting my energy into?
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, even now, like, if you ask, I coach agents and I coach entrepreneurs on how to utilize video and and if you ask 100 people, 98 of them are scared to death of video. We're afraid of what we're going to look like. Are we going to make a mistake? Are people going to like us? We don't like, we're too young, we're too old. My nose is too big. I don't like the way I sound. I mean, you name it, everything comes up, and it still does. I still worry. Like today, I'm like, I don't feel like I look that good today. I'm kind of having an off day, a little tired today. And so, and I'm on this podcast with you, which is probably, you're going to use video as well, but it's just something that with practice, you get better at. And, I remember people would be like, why are you doing those videos? Now it's like, what are you doing? It's like, it went from why to, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like, I see you everywhere. I see you everywhere. It's just what I hear all the time. And anything can be overcome and anything can be learned. And of course I was nervous and I was afraid and embarrassed. And now it's to the point where, I can't go anywhere in my town without people knowing me. I mean, anywhere, right? And people are talking to me as if we're old, longtime friends. And when I go to an appointment, which I don't now, last year, I only sold 90 homes, but I only work 5 hours a month in my real estate business, and I coach, the rest of the time. But just because of my reputation and the brand awareness, I'm able to record my videos and send my brother, and he acts as if he's me. I don't talk to buyers or sellers anymore. I just run the team, and they follow my systems and my strategies, and I create the videos and the content and the scripts. And I'm sort of the face of the company. And, we still did, 90 homes last year, over $1 million worth of commission. So, you know, I'm so glad I did it, because with your content is doing more selling for you than anything else all the time, right? It's, someone will do a listing, open house, and I'll create a video and I'll get 400, 500, 700 hours of watch time on it. And then it's out there forever. And then I put it on my YouTube channel, and I do something called video repurposing. And so it's like, my time is so valuable. In order for you to make a massive impact and to reach the masses, you're not going to be able to do it by doing, an open house or cold calling, because as soon as you stop doing those activities, everything stops. Once I hit record and I distribute that video never goes away. It's like it's there forever. And now I'm getting search engine optimization because the video's on my website, so I get SEO from that. The video's on YouTube, and now YouTube is owned by Google, the number one search engine. So now I get SEO from that. I'm turning up on the first and second page of Google, and so it's like I always ask people, do you like money, or are you worried about the way you're going to look, right? So if you want to really, really, truly reach the masses, make an impact, really, really help a lot of people, save yourself time, then the video and properly distributing is the answer.
Man, great tips there. I love it. You talked about the SEO component of it, and making sure that you have something now where instead of you having to sit there and cold call or show every single person who wants to see the property, you could create this content in one time and push it out there and make sure that it stays in front of people as long as you need it to stay in front of people. And over time, through the SEO, the search engine optimization, you now build a brand and reputation in the search space, right? So now Google and YouTube, they know that when people are looking for that thing, those kind of properties, to go to your website. And I think that's the takeaway for the investors and our marketers. And you're a marketer, by the way, if you're listening to this, you're marketing, whether you know it or not, you're a marketer. So as a marketer, what do you want to be known for? When people are looking for something, what do you want them to be known for? And Krista, you mentioned that it was hard for you, or not hard, but you said that you can't go around your town without people recognizing you. And I think some people may hear that and say, well, I don't want that. And that's why I don't want to do video because of that. But the advantages that you get, because people already know who you are, they already know how you can help them, that has to outweigh the fact that you are a little hesitant about what you may look like on camera, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, I always tell people this, like, if you want to be considered a solution, you've got to be solving a problem. So, when you're solving people's problems online by talking to them about their pain points and their fears and their wants and their needs and their desires, and how you can actually help be a solution to that. And on top of that, you're not just talking about real estate, you're giving, hacks and tips and tricks, and you're showing them about something great that you learned, or something, a great restaurant that you went to, or, you're really, really being the mayor of your town. Now, I understand that people are introverted and some people don't like to be known that, but if you can still have your privacy, but let people in a little bit, because when people say a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 60 million words, right? Like a video, your brain processes information 600 times faster with video than it does with just a picture. And so when you meet somebody and they feel like they already know you, you've already won before you arrive, right? Like you want to win before you arrive. And all the different skills and strategies that you can do to win before you arrive, video is that tool. And so I know that if I'm competing with somebody, I'm already about 75% above them, because the people have already kind of made a decision that they're wanting to work with me to begin with, right? So they kind of already made that decision they want to work with me. And so, it'll help you, like when you meet somebody, right? It's like you're starting from scratch. But if they've consumed your content, followed you for a bit, gotten to know you, then you're not starting from scratch. It's like you already have, like, your foot's on in the door. You're almost getting that dotted line signed, right? And if you're competing with other people, who do you think they're going to hire? They're going to hire someone they know, like, and trust. And you wouldn't be in that front door if they didn't already know you, like you, and trust you. Whereas the other people they're having to kind of sort of prove themselves. And while you're there just to develop and enhance the relationship, and then obviously show your skill.
Yeah, I mean, excellent tips right there. I mean, you talked about really making sure that people know, like, and trust you. And the quote you said was, "You want to win before you arrive." And
Mhm.
I think that's a great takeaway, right? You want to win before you arrive. Let this content do a lot of the heavy lifting, allow people to get to know you, and then you can come up and just close the deal. And that's a great way to amplify your business. Now,
And it
you had a
works for
lot of
any industry, any industry.
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
gonna say, you had a lot of success, obviously, when you turned to video. There's someone listening who's like, "Hey, Chris, that's okay. You already crushing it as an agent, so I get adding this to kind of your marketing toolbox." But for someone who maybe is more, still trying to work through the business, still trying to get traction in their business, they don't have a huge reputation right now. How should they be looking at video and digital marketing to stand out?
Perception is reality. So even if you're a brand new agent, right, and you've never even sold a house before, when you're out there talking about real estate, talking about the community, talking about what's happening in the market, giving market updates, perception is reality. People assume that you're doing business. You don't have to be an experienced agent to do that. So this strategy works for a new agent. It works for somebody who's in the middle and wants to, is doing 30 deals here and wants to do 60, or someone who's doing 100 and wants to do 300. Like we literally have all of those samples of students. We've helped like hundreds and hundreds of people, right? And they're in all different levels of markets. It's just getting over that fear, getting over that, that worry about, oh, the things that you're even saying, right? And anything can be learned and taught. It's just a matter of surrounding yourself with the right people, right? Obviously, you need your GPS, you need your goals and your guidance, you need your plan and your blueprint, and you need the systems and the support. If you have your GPS, you can get through anything. And most people will stop because they don't see the results right away. And the thing about this type of content and doing video is that you put in all the effort here, and you don't usually start to see the results for about 3 or 4 months, right? But all of a sudden, it's like if you do it consistently and you don't stop, all of a sudden it's like your business just explodes. It just goes from like it just explodes because of the fact that it's buyers and sellers, they say what, take 3 to 6 months before when they start thinking about something before they actually do it. Well, if you give it the chance for it to really marinate and for the compound effect to happen, it's like astronomical what happens, right? So, I mean, we have people that are like, oh my God, all of a sudden I've got 7 listings, I've got 10 listings, just hit. Well, it didn't just hit. It's the fact that they were doing work for the several months before. They did not give up. They did not stop because they didn't see the results right away. It just takes time for people to marinate. And then before you know it, boom, it worked because they gave it the time and energy that it took. And now next thing you know, now they're working less, making more. You also start to attract a higher price point of homes. What we found, especially if you're marketing them appropriately, because when you market your homes, you're also marketing yourself, right? Like it's like you don't want to. Everyone, I hear this all the time. Oh, house is sold in a day. I'm thinking, well, you just really hurt yourself and your seller because even though houses absolutely will sell in a day right now, give it the time to marinate. Give it 5, 6, 7 days, right? Let the marketing work for you and for your customers so they get the highest possible best price and terms, and don't do yourself an injustice or your listing an injustice just because things are flying off the shelf.
No, great insights right there. You mentioned earlier that, when you made that pivot from being the foreclosure queen to kind of the digital marketing expert, the digital marketing queen that you are right now, part of what you did was you kind of took a look at the different ways big companies were marketing. You talked about content marketing and you called it engagement marketing. So I made a note to come back to that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a difference. And up to this point, we've talked about kind of one way content, right? You creating videos, putting it out there, creating videos, putting it out there. Talk to me about engagement and what's different about that.
So you just involve the community, right? So I'll go interview local professionals. I'll interview local restaurants. I'll go and do like what's the favorite hot spots in town. Then I'll interview and talk to somebody while I'm there. You just bring people. Like when we went to a candy store, and we interviewed the kids at the candy store, or we did a toy drive and we built a Santa truck, and we went around the neighborhoods and we played music and we passed out toys to the kids and let the kids sit on Santa's lap. Just different things like that. What can you do? Easter egg hunts. Like what can you do to engage the community? Like so, it's a two-way, right? You know, businesses love being interviewed. They love being interviewed and talking to them, and then they get to showcase their business, and you take that video and you do an ad behind it, and then you're helping the community, you're helping the business owner, you're helping yourself all at the same time. I just like to engage the community as well as educate them. So that's what engagement marketing is.
No, I love it. And listen, as an agent or someone who's in a local market, that's a great way to build that rapport and to grow your engagement. I know you've got a 2 days live event as well. Can you talk a little bit more about that, and how can listeners find you there?
Yeah, so it's KristaMashore.com/2 days live. We have 20 hours worth of coaching where I just talk about digital marketing and the strategies and the tactics and the tips on how to create content, how to properly distribute it so it actually gets seen. It's actually coming up May 24th and 25th. We have it every single month. So no matter when this airs, we have it once a month. It's KristaMashore.com/2 days live.
Awesome. We'll make sure we link to that and check that out as well. Krista, for that person they're listening, they're excited, you just help them make the decision to get into video marketing, to really turn on the digital marketing. What's the next step for them, right? Like, I'm excited, but I don't know what to do with all this energy. So what do I do?
So you just start. You grab your cell phone and you just hit record. It's really don't overthink it. Don't worry about getting a green screen and having all the perfect effects. Just grab your phone. All of us have one, and just start creating content. And at first, and don't watch it a million times. Like, go watch it later on to see how you can critique yourself and to get better and improve. But don't overanalyze it. Don't overthink it. Who cares if you made a mistake? I know I've made plenty of mistakes on this interview that we've been on just today, right? I've said things wrong, and hopefully you don't hate me for it. I mean, we're human, we're imperfect. But if you keep thinking about it and you don't start, like, it's not a matter anymore of should I, it's a matter of it's a necessity for you to stay in business and to really thrive amongst your competition. It is a necessity. And, this same exact strategy that I used in real estate, I used in my coaching, and we have done just under $15 million in less than 3.5 years, utilizing video and utilizing funnels and marketing ourselves online to a community that didn't even know who I was, right? No one knew who I was. And now I'm coaching, thousands of agents across the country. And 3.5 years ago, no one even knew my name. Only locally they knew my name, right? So if this strategy works nationally, imagine how well it will work locally for people. So just start. Just start.
I love it, Krista. Lots of great insights there. You absolutely crushed this today. And if you are still on the fence about using digital marketing to grow your business, you need to get off of it. Krista just gave you every reason. She's a part of the 2 Comma Club. And I mean, you want to get your business in the same spot. So, Krista, let's go to our bullseye round. Are you ready?
Yep. Thanks, John, for having me too, by the way. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Give me a failure or an apparent failure that sets you up for later success.
There's been a couple of businesses I've tried to start that just didn't work, right? And I mean, on 2 of them, I remember I spent over a year with each of them and worked, 30, 40 hours a week on top of my regular job, and just to have them fail. But it wasn't really a fail. It was just getting me ready and helping me learn for where I'm at now. And I think that when people see people and they think, oh, they're just an overnight success, they don't realize the whole, for me, I sold real estate for 17 years before I got into coaching 3 years ago, right? So that was my 17 years of experience, 20 years of experience, which helped me get where I'm at today. It's never like an overnight success, if that makes sense.
Give me a digital or mobile resource you recommend for your business.
Funnels, ClickFunnels.
Give me the book you've recommended or gifted the most in the last year.
Cybergenetics by Dr. Maxwell Malch.
Give me a daily habit that helps you stay focused on your goals.
Exercising every day and also showing gratitude.
What are you curious about right now?
Oh, that's a good one. Curious. I get next. 3 X's.
All right. What's one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you were starting out?
Just don't compare yourself to other people, right? I think there's been times where I've compared myself to other people, or I've assumed something, and it just isn't always the case. So just don't do that.
All right. We've given your information, but again, for folks who want to reach you, they can go to KristaMashore.com/2dayslive. I want to ask you this. Give me the best place to grab a bite to eat.
Sushi. You better go to sushi. All you can eat sushi.
All right. Well, you've interviewed so many local restaurant owners and whatnot. So give me a good place.
Okay, so I like gosh, I forget the name of it. It's Chelsea's. Chelsea's in downtown Britain.
All right, Chelsea's it is. Listen, this has been a lot of fun. You gave us a lot of great information and some actionable tips to move forward now with digital marketing, how to make it work for our business and how to grow and getting over, ourselves, whatever concerns or fears you may have. Don't like the way you look in front of the camera, you stumble over your words. You got to get over those things, just turn the camera on.
Let's
and
go.
They're editors. If you really don't like something, you can use the editors and cut it down and practice a little bit more. But it's a great way to grow your business as evidenced by the work that you've done, not just for yourself, but for all of your coaching clients as well. Krista, thank you for coming on Target Market Insights, providing so much great insights for us today. We hope you have a great day. We hope to talk again soon.
John, I appreciate it. Remember, everyone, learning is great, but implementation is where it all happens. You've got to implement. Go crush it.
Take care, Krista.